Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. Where three men weaving it tonight. Andrew Velez, Joe Dels in the building. Lakers tied a series 1-1 with the Wolves. OKC and Indiana take a 2-0 series lead. Before we talk about the games, how was your guys' day?
Pretty good day. Dels, how was your day?
Doing good, man. Can't complain.
Let's go, man. Dude, let me ask you a question, Dels. How did it feel to watch a real basketball player tonight?
Who? Anthony Edwards? Julius Randle?
Ant-Man was all right. I think you know who I'm talking about. Number
Ant-Man
77.
was great tonight.
Okay, I'm
the
not here
most
to
part.
glaze Anthony Edwards. That's your job. My job is to talk about number 77.
We'll talk about it. Dels, I feel like we have to mention something important that happened today. Us Payton Pritchard winning Sixth Man of the Year. I think it was rightfully deserved. We try to put in Malik Beasley into the conversation. Ty Jerome also was in the conversation. DeAndre Hunter was in the conversation. But I think Payton Pritchard rightfully deserved this award.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He would have had my vote if I had a vote. I was glad he got it. It's crazy to think how far Pritchard came from just a couple of years ago, where he kind of requested a trade, to now he's like such a pivotal, important piece to this team. The shots he hit in the finals last year. It's awesome to see a guy that, started off getting some minutes early in his career. Those minutes got taken away when you trade for Malcolm Brogdon and Derek White. You kind of lose your role. Then he gets back, put into the rotation, and is, as good as any six man out there. And it's only making $8 million a season. So shout out to Payton Pritchard.
This is like what, the Celtics' second Sixth Man of the Year in the last 3 years?
Brogdon won it 2 years ago. And then
now Pritchard. You guys just generate six men.
Shout out to that, man.
And so the Celtics had somebody who won an award tonight, Payton Pritchard, but Tatum's also missing game 2. Now, I feel like I was rightfully concerned about the injury bug. It feels like the Celtics are running through it right now. They're having an injury bug. Jaylen Brown's back, but that knee is still like flaring up a little bit. It wasn't the best end of season. And now the Tatum wrist thing, and he's out for game 2, which shouldn't really matter because they should still win, but still.
Yeah, well, I think he's doubtful. I don't think he's been ruled out unless something changed.
I thought he was ruled out.
I just saw doubtful.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, usually doubtful, though, means you're out. I mean, there's a chance tomorrow gets upgraded questionable, but the fact he's doubtful at all is pretty crazy because Tatum just doesn't miss games, right? I remember late in the regular season this year, he twists his ankle going up against Kings, who was Sabonis, and 2 days later, he was questionable against the Suns, didn't play that game, then played the game after that in like March on a road trip playing like Portland or whoever. So the fact that Tatum is listed as doubtful means that it's somewhat concerning. So, I mean, we'll see. The shooting wrist, of course, he's had surgery on that in the past. Probably a reason why maybe it's more serious than if he didn't have any previous history with it.
So shout out to everybody that's watching live right now. We know that it's really late, especially if you're in the East Coast. It's really late in the East Coast, and we're still pulling this through. Drew's here. Dels is here. Make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. Let's talk about this first game that we didn't give much airtime to, game 1. In the comments, let us know about it. But we weren't really going to talk about this game much. Grizzlies and Thunder. First game was a 50-point blowout. Second game, much more competitive, but OKC still won convincingly. But SGA, another cold night. But the bright spot is that Chet and J-Dub have played amazing in this series. In first 2 games, they have been lights out.
Is that easing your concerns, Mr. Moran? Are we starting to feel a lot more confident in the two of them?
Yes, for sure.
Or is it a first series and we got to wait and see?
That's a possibility because last year,
exactly,
in the first round, they were good against the Pelicans. But J-Dub, 24, 6, and 5, Chet 20 and 11. SGA has an inefficient 27, and they still beat the Grizzlies pretty convincingly by 19 points. I think everything for the Thunder, because they're so young, is make or break this playoff run, and it's going to tell us a lot about who they're going to be. But I think J-Dub and Chet should continue to play well. There's no reason why they shouldn't. But this defense is just suffocating Memphis. They're not able to generate any offense. Jaren at least played somewhat well. Ja was inefficient. He had 23 points. I don't know, man. This is just a very bad matchup for Memphis, and I think OKC, they're going to sweep them.
Also have to give some love to my brother with a game high plus 17, Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso shot 50% from the field, 50% from three. Obviously, his impact on the defense speaks for itself. He was excellent tonight. That's why you go and get a guy like that, to go and make impact plays, be an impact player in these moments. And we see how much the defense has changed from last year to this year. Last year, it was a great defense. This season, it's one of the best defenses we've ever seen. And that's in due part to Alex Caruso and, of course, Isaiah Hartenstein. But when you're getting performance like this from Chet Holmgren and J-Dub, you really have zero chance of beating the Oklahoma City Thunder, especially a team like the Grizzlies, who have been as ice cold as they've been to close out the season. Like you mentioned, it was great to see Jaren to have a great game, considering how poor he was in game one. But when you look at OKC, you just understand they are just a more dominant team. It's something to look at with SGA not playing the best in these first two games, at least efficiency-wise. But last year, we did see him not play the best in the Pelican series. And then against the Mavericks, he was all world. So again, you want to see the co-stars play well. That's what they're doing. Hopefully that carries over for the remainder of the playoffs if you are an Oklahoma City fan. But this is just going to be one of those where Oklahoma City is going to handle their light work. But as long as we see those star players play like that, then obviously it's going to grow people that are doubting them and their confidence more.
Yeah, I mean, the Thunder are loaded. You get two, for SGA standards, probably two bad SGA games.
For real.
29 shots today, 27 points. You still win by 20. Of course, game one, he had, 17? They went by 50. It's crazy, man. I'm thinking, like, if you put Ja and Jaren Jackson on the OKC Thunder and take out J-Dub and SGA, they might win a championship. That's how great this OKC Thunder team is. Just really well built, really no weaknesses. They got guys that can defend. They got big men. They got depth. They got great coaching. So, yeah, I think, SGA eventually is going to turn it back around. And again, 27 tonight, kind of got back on track. But
that Paolo and Franz comment really got to Dels, huh?
Huh?
That Paolo and Franz comment really got to Dels. You heard what this dude just said?
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
He just said that if you put Jaren Jackson and John Morant on the Thunder instead of SGA and J-Dub, they'd be championship contenders.
That didn't even come to my mind. It was just something that while I was watching, I was like, oh, I wonder if that would happen.
SJ is better than Tatum, buddy.
Cool. Larry.
Luke is also better than Tatum, just in case you forgot.
Team accomplishment. Oh, my goodness, those. You make me sick. If you're the Grizzlies, would you have rather just got your first-round pick and lost in the play-in?
If this is what it's going to look like, you're going to get blown out every game.
I feel like I would have just rather the first-round pick, even though they keep missing their picks. I don't know, man. I feel like the Grizzlies are kind of stuck, and we talk about it so much, but they're kind of in no man's land. Even though they have some star
back
power.
Next year, they're back. If he's back, they're going to be okay. If he's not, they're cooked.
I think Ja needs to be more than back. Ja needs to get better, and Ja just hasn't really gotten better.
I don't disagree with you. I think this was a bad year for him. Objective, like across the board, just not what we were accustomed to seeing in terms of getting downhill, being one of the best finishers, being one of the best playmakers, and then manipulating his way around the mid-range. We just saw him settling for way too many jump shots, and that's not his game. I agree with what you're saying, though. He needs to improve as a jump shooter 100%, but I would like to see him get back to what he was at the minimum.
I agree, but what is Ja at his best? Is he like a top 15 player again?
Well, Ja at his best is a top 5 point guard in the league, and around the top 15 player in the league as well.
I don't think John Morant is a top 5 point guard in the league anymore.
No, but that's getting back to what he was.
Well, I'm saying at his best. If at his best, is he better than?
He's still it's borderline top 5 because you got Luka, Shea, Curry, Brunson,
and Cade now. Cade coming into the picture makes things muddy.
Yeah, I think Cade is over Ja. Even if Ja gets back to Ja, I think I would still have Cade.
Ja's a better playmaker than he is, and considering turnovers and everything like that. He's better at attacking the basket. He's better in transition. He's not anything else scoring, especially because of how much better of a jump shooter Cade is. I'm going to take Cade.
Cade is a better player, though. I'd much rather just build around the 6'6" guy who can defend.
Yeah, it's shoot. The defense that definitely moves me too.
Even playmaking. I mean, I don't think Ja's a better playmaker than Cade. Cade just averaged almost 10 assists.
Yeah, but it's not a clean 10 assists. Like,
He
yes,
has a
it's
lot
10
of
assists,
turnovers.
10 assists or 10 assists, no doubt. It's still sloppy-ish.
But it's also like there's just nothing around him to take any pressure off.
Tim Hardaway minutes, Malik Beasley.
No,
It's
you're
like
not
Dennis
wrong.
Schroeder has
Dennis
been
Schroeder's good.
revolutionary for this team.
But respect Dennis Schroeder. Like, I get that this is his third team this year, but he's a good ball player.
No, absolutely.
And then Tyrese Halliburton. I couldn't feel right if I put Ja over Tyrese.
Hallie's over him right now.
Even with the scoring volume that Ja might have.
That's a conversation for sure, though.
Yeah. Riv is not here, man. Riv needs to be here for these conversations because then it gets back to him. He's busting my chops about Jaren struggling, but tonight Jaren had a better game than Ja.
I really don't care who has better games.
There's
in this
series,
there's
this competition of like who's gonna outduel who, Ja or
JJ.
JJ.
Getting more stats in garbage time when the game's over halfway through the third.
I mean, come on, man. Okay, so this we're gonna read the super chat from Santos because he gave us one. Santos goes, the idea looks amazing for not playing in the playoffs for 2 years. This is good. Let's respond to this. I mean, I think the conversation got misconstrued when we first had it.
It always gets misconstrued.
It did, because multiple times I said Giannis could be the best player in the world. But yes, the idea that he can go on a deep playoff run when we haven't seen it in 4 years now.
Yeah.
The supporting cast is terrible around him. Let's get Drew back up on the stage here, because the idea has played really well, but the idea is going to lose in the first round again and probably is going to get swept. And we have Riv here. Surprise appearance.
Yo.
Riv is here.
Hey, what's up?
Okay, we're talking about Giannis being the idea. I mean, he's about to lose in the first round again, Riv. So what are your thoughts on that?
First, my thoughts are getting misconstrued, and let's kick it to Riv. He's about to lose in the first round again. What do you think, dude?
Yeah, that's a great way to start. First of all, how you guys doing? Good morning.
Good morning. Were you sleeping?
It is definitely good morning. I did fall asleep towards the end of the fourth quarter, but I'm up now. In terms of Giannis being the idea, I didn't know we were still going with that. That's funny as hell. Yeah, no, it's tough, man. Listen, Indiana's a good team. I think Milwaukee right now defensively, for me, they feel lost. I mean, Indiana is able to do kind of whatever they want, I think. But I think right now Dame doesn't look ramped up. I think that's a big thing too offensively for them. Dame doesn't look ramped up. And you look at Indiana starting five. They played a good game just as a collective, as a whole, as a unity. Continuity is there with them. They just love to play together. Their offense is high flowing. Defensively, they haven't been awful, but also with the Bucks, they don't really have any firepower that can really combat with this team. But you got 2 games in Indiana. You lost those 2 games. We've seen things where the teams go back home and they win both of their home games, So I think there's a slim chance for that. But I did pick Indiana. I'm more confident in that right now. But you got to just hope Dame can ramp up and give you that Dame that you were getting like last year, combined with the Giannis you're getting right now, because he is averaging like 30, 14, and like 8 right now. So statistically he's dominating, but hasn't translated to wins.
Dude, in all seriousness, there's nothing more he can do.
They're
outmatched bad in this series.
They need Dame to get 30, 35.
They're outmatched, and 2 games in a row we've watched in the fourth quarter, they've made it somewhat interesting.
This wasn't more so than game 1. This game, we were like, okay, if you can maybe cut this lead down, but then Giannis misses a shot and it wasn't able to do it. So sometimes
Bobby jump for joy like a little kid when that happens.
Sometimes Bobby Portis masterclass games get wasted,
Bobby Portis was carrying in that fourth quarter.
He was playing so well.
Big shots. I think Dame looked like a player who hasn't played basketball in, over a month at this point. It was really weird, especially to start the game. He was on the court but wasn't getting the ball. Like, they were just possession after possession. It was just Giannis, which, it's Giannis, so I get that. But I would expect the Bucks to try to find him some sort of rhythm offensively, and he wasn't able to do that early in the game. And then, as you saw later on, he had a couple of shots here and there, but for the most part, Dame was just really lost offensively. And if he's not giving you anything on offense or subpar offensive performance, it just looks even worse on defense because this team already lacks defenders. And now you're putting one of your worst defenders out there. Of course, he just makes up for it with all of the firepower he has. But this was, far from his best game. I just worry that you're going to get back to Milwaukee. Maybe you get one, but I don't think Dame is all of a sudden going to come out and like average 30 over these next 2 games, which is probably what you need to happen if you want to take at least one of these games against the Pacers. My guess is Bucks get at least one. They split 1-1. Pacers probably wrap it up at 5 at home. Like Riv mentioned, I just think the Pacers are an overwhelming matchup for this Bucks team that just doesn't have enough good players. The Pacers had 6 players score 14 or more points. The Bucks had 3 players in double digits today. It was Bobby Portis, Dame, and Giannis. And this was Bobby Portis's maybe his best game of his career, going out there and averaging or dropping damn near 30. So I think it's just a really tough matchup for the Bucks. Brook Lopez looked better in some instances.
He's still unplayable in the series.
I think it's just a really tough matchup against a high-powered offensive team. And I just don't think they really have a chance in the series.
This is Giannis's last year as a Buck, man. Let's just, call it how it. Listen, all-time great.
I had the Bucks in 6. And I really think the Pacers in 6, but I really think this is a 5-game series. The Bucks have really looked outmatched. I know, Drew, you had a tweet that you think the Bucks are going to come back. Is that just for Twitter purposes?
I'm saying for the series. Okay. It's not wrapped up until we see them in Milwaukee. Once I see them in Milwaukee, because, again, they showed strong life in this game.
They did.
Especially because it looked in
They're getting better game by game.
No doubt. They definitely have.
Like the Knicks for Celtics.
I wouldn't go that far. I think that one's way more lopsided. I'll let you.
Yeah, the Bucks Pacers. Maybe it might be similar.
I wouldn't go that far. That being said, playoff riser Andrew Nembhard. Wow, I'm really I got to give him his love. He's really played some strong basketball. Riv, your guy. He wasn't a regular season guy, but hey, when it matters most, he's here. Hitting that shot over Giannis, it felt like a knife to the heart. I was really upset, especially because that was after Giannis blew the layup as well. It was just a double whammy of unfortunate events for Giannis. But I want to see them in Milwaukee. I think they'll make this a respectable series in Milwaukee. You can see it end in 6 either which way. I still believe that the Bucks have life in this series. I think we'll start to see a better Dame in Game 3 as well. I'm with you. He just didn't look like he is in basketball shape. And this is an offense and a team that is ran primarily through Giannis. That's going to be expected, especially with the way that he's been playing. But we all understand that Dame is essential to them and their success. So if you want to have a chance of winning this basketball series, you have to have him go out there and at least give an effort to shoot you into wins. He made a big shot down the stretch as well. That was a damn near 30-foot bomb to bring the lead closer. This was a fun game. It just sucks that there's still such a strong lack of shooting for the Milwaukee Bucks. Kyle Kuzma played a lot better than he did in Game 1, and even still, he needed to make some timely jump shots, and simply they did not fall. So it was a great performance by the Pacers. You didn't have the best Siakam game, but like Joel mentioned, you had so many players contribute at a strong level, whether it was Nembhard, whether it was Benedict Mathurin, Naismith. There's just so many guys that are contributing to winning basketball games right now for the Indiana Pacers. But again, I'm not gonna call the Bucks dead at this point in time. I still have to see how they look in Milwaukee before I say it's done.
What was I was reading the comments from last night. What was the Zion stuff? What was that? What was you guys talking about?
Oh, it was about the video that we did about who would we rather have if they're healthy.
Oh, okay. Because I saw a lot of Zion fans come up. So
yeah, I'll say this. I think the Bucks can, for the most part, go band for band with the Pacers offensively, just because Giannis is so unstoppable. He can make sure that they're at least in it until the fourth quarter. I think the defense is the major problem for them, and continuing to start Brook Lopez, I think that has to be done. I think they have to switch the starting lineup, because when Brook Lopez is out there and Miles Turner's out there and they pace and space you and pick and roll you to death, it's just too much ground to cover. I think if the Bucks are going to have any chance to make this a series, Brook Lopez has to almost get his minutes entirely cut and just be used as a situational player because he's just not, he can't play in this series. And I think they do have the personnel to maybe pivot from him and go smaller and be more athletic.
Yeah, well, you saw it late in this game too. Brook Lopez played under 20 minutes. Obviously, Bobby Portis had himself an amazing performance, but this was the game where, although it was later in the game, Doc did make the adjustment to bring in Bobby Portis. I think next game we see it initiated a lot sooner.
Like he shouldn't start.
Yeah,
he shouldn't start.
100%. And I think that could really swing into the Bucks' favor. I don't know if you want to have some type of combination of what Jericho Sims instead. Like, I don't know if I feel comfortable with that, Joel.
Giannis and Portis, I think that's a 2.
Yeah, that's what they closed with, right?
Yeah, I think Giannis, Portis, Dame. You have Prince out there, and at the 2, who's their 2? It's Prince. It's Gary. I think Gary Trent comes off the bench for them. I don't know. Whoever their 2 is.
Green, whatever.
Yeah, whoever the 2 is, it doesn't really matter. But I think that's what their best lineup is, just to stay afloat defensively. Halliburton had a really good game. I think he really dictated pace a lot. It's just the Pacers. I think you mentioned this, Dells, like last podcast that we did. It's Giannis and Dame, and then outside of that, everybody on Indiana is just better. And a lot of their runs come from their bench with TJ McConnell and Obi Toppin in the game. And Mathurin had double-digit points tonight too. And then you mentioned Nembhard. He is a playoff riser. Over his last 8 playoff games, he's averaging 19 points per game. And some of those games were against the Boston Celtics, against the Knicks, and now against the Bucks. So I think the Pacers really have a flow. But we have to see. You're right. You know, if Milwaukee takes care of business, then they take care of business, and we're going to have a series.
I think 2 interesting things that they said on the broadcast about Dame. Number 1, he wasn't working out at all. He was on blood thinners. He wasn't able to work out basically for the last month. Once he got cleared, what was it, a week ago or so at that point, he had some sort of reconditioning, but this is someone who hasn't been playing basketball for a month. And also, Doc Rivers' son, not Austin, but he has another son, is on the training staff. And they mentioned that Doc Rivers' son came up to him and said, Dame looks good. He's going to be good to go way sooner than we thought. And I thought that was interesting, as Doc Rivers is presumably on the hot seat. If you get bounced in 4 or 5 games in the first round, you have all of these Giannis rumors. Dame is potentially his last year as well. It's just a little bit of a side eye that Doc Rivers' son, who I'm sure there's obviously other people on the medical staff, it's not him just making the last decision, but he's the one that came up to Doc and be like, no, Dame's good. He's far ahead that we thought he could ever have been. He's good to go game 2. It was just something that I didn't know.
Clearly, he didn't lie.
He looked good.
Good to go.
He just wasn't hitting his shots.
Wait, so Doc Rivers has another son, not named Austin Rivers, who's on the staff.
That's what the broadcast said today.
Okay.
Family ties. Jay Clark goes, Julius is a playoff riser the second he leaves us, Joel. What did we do to deserve this? He had his best playoff performance tonight. He was amazing. Awesome.
He was great tonight.
Playoff
27. Playoff Randall, baby.
Now,
Randall.
Jay Clark's the GOAT. Shout out to him. Knicks fan, Baltimore fan. Dude's a legend. Shout out
Is
to
this
Julius.
Jay Flox on Twitter?
Might be. No, I think his could be just Jay Clark on Twitter as well. Nevertheless, how are we feeling about the Lakers defense, boys? How are we feeling about it? Are we back? We're back.
We will read these super chats and then get you excited again, Drew. Jacob Fruity goes to the Warriors look like a top 3 team.
Interesting timing
in the West.
They beat the Rockets.
Yeah, I mean, they've only played 1 game, so.
And the answer is no. The Warriors didn't look that great in that game.
Yeah, if we're just measuring like game 1 performances, low-key Warriors might be 5.
No, they did not look that good in that game.
Okay. All right.
Nuggets and Clippers are ahead of them. Is that what we're doing?
The Nuggets and Clippers have just looked so good playing against each other.
Okay. They look better than Lakers.
Off 1 game.
Then we look today.
Well, they played only 1 game.
I'm thinking great today.
Yeah, I'm thinking game 1.
Scholar Samuels goes, man, let Dells go to sleep instead of saying SJ is better than Tatum and pissing him off. Okay, so this is
shout out to SJ being able to put up 29 shots, get a 20-point win, and no one bats an eye.
27 points is not 17, Dells. Free hole at
29
33.
shots.
Goes, Lakers are looking good. The free throw god is going to win an MVP. Jey Uso is champion. Becky Hogan is back. Dark times we're in, brothers. So let's talk about the Los Angeles Lakers because they beat the Timberwolves tonight. The Timberwolves showed a lot of fight by making this a game because through the first half, you probably were watching it like this probably might not end well, but they did show a lot of fight. But the Lakers won. Series tied 1-1. Going back to Minnesota. Drew, how are you feeling about it?
Feeling excellent because a lot of things were brought into question over game one. And I love basketball a lot, especially playoff basketball, because immediately you have people firing off their first opinions just because it's so fun to overreact to game one. And there's nothing that I'm trying to say here to minimize how good Minnesota is. They are a really strong team. They are led by one of the best young players in the league in Anthony Edwards. Let me just throw that disclaimer out there. I respect the Wolves. That being said, it's very obvious that game one was, let me not go as far to be or a strong word to say outlier.
Bro, just talk your shit.
It's the best Wolves performance that you could have asked for in game one. They shot the absolute piss out of the ball. They could not miss. And then on top of it, Legault and Austin Reeves did not show up. Yeah, so here's a recipe to blow out the Lakers. Now in game two, you asked to see our defense. You asked to see how good we can be. Luka Doncic, Joel, I'm looking at you. Give him his flowers. He was excellent on defense today. Everybody on defense today was amazing. The energy that we saw from LeBron was great. Austin Reeves, we got to get you going. Jump shooting was not good today.
But
obviously, your ability to still score near the paint in the restricted area, play make, you're so much more than just a jump shooter. It just goes to show how talented he is. But it's just crazy because people said we were dead in the water. Lakers are done. Minnesota's going to win. We're not that good. LeBron's old. He's washed. Relax. It's NBA basketball. It's the playoffs. This was obviously always going to be a Lakers win. This is going to be a fun series to watch, but relax with all the hot takes. Minnesota got it. They're going to dog walk. They're a top 5 offense, top 5 defense. Relax.
You had the Lakers in 5.
And don't disrespect. Well, if I took the Lakers in 8, if I took the Lakers in 4, it doesn't matter. I was always taking the
8.
Lakers.
That's a hot take.
That being said, how's our defense look? Are you feeling good about our defense now?
It looked great tonight, and I like the lineups where they went small and just fully dove into it. I thought the Rui DFS lineups were good, and I like Rui playing defensively at the 5 more. I think he has really long arms to be somewhat of an impactful rim protector, as good as you could be for a wing, and he has some size to him so he can handle some post-ups. Their team defense was really good. Austin Reeves hit some important buckets, not the most efficient night, but when he was one-on-one isolated on Rudy Gobert or other defenders, he took advantage, and I felt like he was really awesome. Luka obviously had a Luka game, and so Luka was exceptional, especially in the first half. He set tone to start the first quarter, the same thing that he did in game one.
Who are you rooting for?
No, that's actually what I'm curious about too.
Like, yeah, I'm curious. Who are you rooting for?
I'm not rooting for anybody.
Smiled hard as hell. He was like, Luka, man. He
was great. I'm rooting. This is the best part of watching this series. I just want both to win. You have Luka, and really only Luka is the player that I'm rooting for on the Lakers. But then on the Wolves, you have Ant and Julius and McDaniels. But the Lakers played well. LeBron, outside of like the final 4 minutes, was kind of bad at this game. Scoring wise, he missed.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
He missed almost every jump shot he took.
He came in to start the game. Joel, no, he started the game jump shooting incredibly.
He shot 1 for 5 from 3.
Okay, it's mid range, not jump shooting.
It is
for the outside of the last like 4 minutes.
Because he most definitely started the game on timing with like 4 mid range jumpers.
I thought Bron had a good game.
Bron I thought all around he had good. He was 9 for 20 from the field. 1 for 5 from 3. No, he was 8 for 19 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3. Outside of the last like 3 minutes, that's where he had important buckets. But overall, I thought we could have gotten more out of LeBron. This game was weird because the Lakers won a slugfest. Minnesota shot terribly, 38% from the field and 20% from 3. but the Lakers shot 21% from three. This was a slugfest that the Lakers won, and it kind of showed that if both are having bad offensive nights, the Lakers were the ones that were able to lean on their defense and win this game on their defense.
Makes you think.
Minnesota just started off so slow in the first quarter that they dug themselves in a gigantic hole, and the Lakers were just able to dictate pace and game. They made it a game in the fourth quarter. I thought there was a moment where Minnesota's going to come back, and before the first half ended, they went on a little bit of a run. But overall, I just think that Minnesota was not able to hit shots whatsoever. And even though Mike Conley is a good playmaker, those Terrence Shannon Jr. lineups were very positive for them. It gives them another athletic defender, a rebounder, somebody who can pressure the rim and attack closeouts. I don't know if Mike Conley is the guy that I'd be going with in a closing lineup. He's reliable. I get it. He's a veteran, but I think in this series, they need more athleticism because every time down the court, especially on important possessions, Conley is the guy they're trying to kind of single out to just go and attack him. And it's always a paint touch.
Yeah, I thought, honestly, game 1 and game 2 were probably both outliers for the Wolves. I think game 1, you shoot 50% from three and you hit 23s regardless of how open they were. In game 2, you score 85 points. Their lowest point total of the regular season was 94 points. So I feel like both games were just the really, really good and the really, really bad of this Minnesota Timberwolves team. But as you mentioned, Joel, it was really the first half that dictated this game. Luka comes out. He's the best first quarter player, maybe in NBA history, has like 14 points, finishes the first half with 21. And they were able to build that lead into the third quarter where they were up, I think, as much as 21 or 22 points. And in the second half, the Wolves did such a better job on him. I think he finishes the second half like 3 for 10, 8 or 9 points. It was really LeBron James down the stretch that put this game to bed, hit some clutch shots, hit some clutch layups. But the Timberwolves offense was ugly. And I think a lot of that had to do with the foul trouble they got in early. Naz Reid and Dante DiVincenzo, who were two of the biggest, impactful players, especially Naz Reid in game 1, got in foul trouble early, right? Picked up 3 fouls in the second quarter. A couple of them could have gone either way, but regardless, both of those guys getting into foul trouble really stunted what they were able to do offensively. Jaden McDaniels doesn't shoot 80% from the field. Who would have thought that? And even Anthony Edwards got off to a bit of a slower start. It was Julius Randle in that first half, and credit to him because he was making buckets, but it was tough buckets that Julius Randle was consistently getting. They were giving him the ball. It was a lot of isolation. It was a lot of give Julius the ball. Everyone kind of stands around, and credit to him because he was hitting tough middies. He was finishing around the rim. But overall, the offense was just really, really ugly in the first half. And the offense was still ugly in the second half. Don't get me wrong. It was just the defense really tightened up. I mean, at one point, I think halfway through the second quarter, the Lakers shooting like 60% from the field. They were just hitting everything, and they were getting open looks too. It wasn't just, they were getting lucky and hitting all of these shots. But I do feel like both of these games are a bit of an outlier for Minnesota. They're somewhere in the middle because I don't think they're a team that is legitimately like a top 5 offense consistently. But this is one of the worst performances you're going to see from an NBA team, putting up 85 points, hitting 6 threes in a game in 2025. So I think eventually they'll come back to the mean. But if you're a Minnesota fan, I think you have to feel happy, right? You win game 1, so you steal home court advantage. And in game 2, you had maybe your worst game or one of your worst games of the season, and you still was somewhat competitive. It was like an 8-point game in the fourth quarter. So I think all in all, you have to be happy if you're a Minnesota fan. But it's important to take game 3 too, because you don't want to feel like your back's against the wall in game 4, going up against LeBron and Luka, and all of a sudden you look up and you're down 3-1.
No, this game was really important for the Lakers, and they showed that in the first quarter. Came out, they set a tone. Defensively, they were much better, just in terms of their rotations and their lineups. Being more aggressive on that end. And Minnesota, like you mentioned, Dels, they had 2 weird shooting nights. I also didn't think they got the same open looks that they did in the first game as opposed to this game, because the Lakers defense tightened up and they knew they needed to win this game. They knew they couldn't go down 0-2 heading to Minnesota, and that's how they acted. As for Minnesota, like you mentioned, Randall was having a good game, but there was some tough shots. Like, it just felt a lot harder on the offensive end. And of course, when your team's getting in foul trouble, especially your specific key guys, 2 of your best shooters, actually, Naz Reid is one of their best shooters. Getting in foul trouble, I think it's going to make it a lot more difficult. And then Ant couldn't really get it going too much. Randall was hitting some tough shots, but that's not offense that's going to go on for too long, especially with the way the Lakers defense was playing. Everything was clicking at the right time. And then Luka, he had an amazing game. I thought LeBron was well. I thought he played well. Like you mentioned, hit some clutch buckets. Thought Austin Reeves hit some clutch shots. This is the Lakers team that we've kind of expected. This Lakers team that can play defense and that you can get that offensive firepower. With Minnesota, like you mentioned, there's definitely a middle ground somewhere. I think Minnesota has shown you, though, all year, sometimes that offense could get a little bit flustered late in games in the fourth quarter, and that was probably the difference between this Minnesota team and the new Lakers team with Luka. So it's going to be interesting how Minnesota looks, and I feel like those two games are going to be a lot closer as opposed to what we've seen. Like, we've seen first game blowout. This game got a little bit closer, but I think the next two games in Minnesota are going to be real nail biters, and I think those are going to be the moments where we see which team crumbles. And, I think this game was definitely a must-win for the Lakers, and they got it done.
There were two moments that stuck out to me where I thought the Timberwolves had a real chance to come back. This was the first moment where it was 77-86, and Anthony Edwards takes a three-point shot. He would have cut the lead down to 6, and he missed it. I thought that was I thought that was a big miss in the game. Yeah. And then the Lakers were up 88-77, and Julius Randle was called for the offensive foul after the made basket, and it kind of just shot every ounce of momentum the Timberwolves had. Did you guys think that should have been a foul?
That's home. Yeah. That's called the home call.
The only thing I'm gonna say is that the refs all game were whistle heavy on both sides.
There was a lot of fouls.
1,000%.
The fouls were equal, pretty much.
100%. And I understand if Wolves fans want to say that the refs bless the Lakers.
Oh, they are definitely in the comments.
And they're coping, and it's fine. However, the fact that Julius Randle finished with 5, Jaden McDaniels finished with 5, Naz Reid has 4, Dante picked up 3 early as hell.
Some of the ones on Dante were a little crazy, though.
I agree. Dante's was the one that were definitely ticky-tack. And then the 4th foul he picks up immediately after getting into the game. Dante getting into foul trouble definitely made this more swing in the Lakers' favor for the fact that Reeves gave or Dante gave Reeves a little bit of trouble in game 1. And we saw Reeves as the game progressed get a lot better. He missed a majority of his shots that he missed in that first quarter. Then he definitely got into the groove. But I still think that we haven't seen where, Dels, I'm not going to disagree with what you're saying. You're right. We haven't seen the median for the Wolves. I don't think we've seen the best Lakers. Like, our offense hasn't been great. Game 1, we started off shooting the basketball extremely well. In the second half, that died down. In this game, Luka was incredible. We still haven't gotten like the signature LeBron game. That's inevitable. Reeves hasn't really been that great of a three-point shooter. Rui hasn't been that much of an impact on the offensive side of the ball. Our offense hasn't reached where we know we can get to. I think we saw what our defense can be at its best tonight. That I will say. But our offense hasn't reached the heights that we know that we can get to as well. So there's still room for growth for the Lakers and still room for Lakers fans to still get excited, understanding we can still hit our stride offensively. And that's also a respect to the Wolves, who we understand their defense is one of the better ones in the league.
Yeah, there's positives on both sides. And the Lakers, they didn't have a good shooting night either. And they still were able to win this game off the back of their defense. And because Minnesota shot so terribly, I thought Gabe Vincent had some really important minutes off the bench. He was playing high-level defense. He was hitting his shots. DFS hit like a shot. So I think they got a little bit more from Reeves and LeBron. But, yeah, like, I think LeBron can have an even more efficient game. I think Reeves can have an even more efficient game. I think Rui could start finding his groove a little bit more offensively. So there's a lot of things that the Lakers can get better at as well. So that's why I think this is going to be a hell of a series. Game 3 is going to be fun, especially with the Wolves role players going back to Minnesota and maybe finding their stride as a shooting team a little bit better, much better than game 2. Because
last thing I want to point out, I thought the Lakers, although we weren't hitting our shots, I thought we did a great job of getting mismatches. Like watching Luka get Rudy Gobert in action and switching on to
Constantly.
him and bringing him out into the perimeter. I thought that was excellent. And
The
Reeves,
fans
like
getting
you
into it
mentioned,
too was cool. Every time it was Rudy versus Luka, everyone
crowd
got up.
got
They
crazy.
were starting to scream. It was funny.
But Joel, you mentioned it too. Even Reeves was one that was finding mismatches. And it really is not more so a mismatch. It's just get Rudy out of the paint. Go ahead, and now you can actually attack the basket. Like it goes hand in hand where if you want to shoot over the top of him and try and get that jump shot, which I thought we did too much of, settling for that jump shot. But really the point of that is to also clear out the paint and get an attempt in the bucket when you don't have one of the best rim protectors in basketball there.
100%. Now we're going to read the super chat. Scholar Samuels went, good video with OG fellas. Was a good watch. We appreciate it. We're having somebody work on having an edit where we're just the ones debating. It'll probably be posted on the Pick a Side channel.
Oh, nice.
So we're getting that done. Snipes goes, Luka foul bait went 3 for 10 in the second half. Best in the world.
Blue fat foul
That's
bait.
my burner.
Yeah, I was going to say Luka definitely didn't play that great in the second half. Joel, you and I talk about it. That brother eats in the first quarter, and
He's
a
a
good
legend.
portion of his stat line comes from the first.
Makes
He
you wonder.
dropped 21 points in the first half.
What does it make you wonder?
Makes you wonder.
It makes you wonder that he's putting his energy on defense to make sure that a team
He was
scores
really
under
good
90
defensively
points.
this
That
game. It was one of his
defense
best
tonight
defensive games I've seen in a while.
Just makes you wonder. That's all. Wonder what? I don't know, but it makes you wonder.
Santos wants to hear your thoughts on the Grizzlies, Riv.
That they got their ass beat by OKC.
He wants to hear your thoughts on Jaren having a better game than Ja today.
Nah, Riv, you should have heard Joel. Like, I wish Riv was up here so I could tell him Jaren was so much better than Ja. I'm like, bro,
it's about time.
Every game.
It's been weeks, dog. It's been like weeks, so it's about time. Yeah, no.
Most important game of the series, game 2.
Shit. At this point, there's no important game for them in this.
Their last game's the most important.
I doubt it. No,
They were down 15 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, no. OKC's gonna blow them out.
So the Bucks, I guess we're all expecting they're gonna lose. This is 2 podcasts in a row.
I'm still trusting in my guys.
Okay, yeah, he's going with Giannis to carry jobs.
Wait, Drew, you picked the Bucks, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he had to stand.
I turned my back on the Pacers because of an agenda, and I'm not mad about it. Giannis, we ride
into a first round exit.
We'll see. No, the idea is looking more
very
like
honorable.
No, the idea you will pay. Trust me,
he actually had he had 10 points in the fourth quarter. You know, definitely way better than the Heat series fourth quarters.
You will pay.
He's
Trust
not
me.
playing like that.
Hasn't won a playoff game in some years, man.
I think he might lose in the first round. You know, whether it happens or not, I don't really care. I have a trade for Giannis. Everybody's cooking up trades, and the teams you often hear are OKC and Houston. The Knicks come up in the conversation a lot. Today, I heard a new team. Oh, the Lakers, you know, they can get anybody at this point. They got Luka. The Nets came up in the conversation. The Pacers came up in the conversation. Halliburton and Giannis. I didn't dislike that pairing. I like it a lot. But the one that I came up with, this is the most out of the blue Giannis trade landing spot.
The Spurs.
The Kings.
The Pelicans. Trading Zion. You trade Herb Jones. You trade what can be a top 5 pick in the draft and another first round pick, and you go get Giannis. You have CJ McCollum. You have DeJounte. You have Trey Murphy. You have Yves Missi. I don't think that's awful.
Why did you say this on the podcast?
I don't think it's awful.
That team's getting bounced in 5 games in the
I don't think it's awful. It's not awful.
It's not good.
Why did you say that?
I don't think it's an awful landing spot.
They could maybe win a playoff series.
He's going from this to that. He's going to be devastated.
They have better role players. The Pelicans do.
They're going to be like
would have better role players, but they just. I guess if you believe Trey Murphy, I mean Trey Murphy had a great year, so I get it.
Question: What that makes them what better than just Memphis?
They're a playing team.
That makes them better than the Rockets.
What? The Rockets are the 2 seed.
Giannis, Trey Murphy,
the Rockets.
and CJ McCollum is a better big 3 than anybody on the Rockets.
The Rockets were just the 2 seed.
Dude.
Okay.
So if they want the best 50, record in the Western Conference.
If they want 50 games, and so can the Pelicans if they had Giannis with a healthy squad.
Brother, CJ McCollum, Houston will put him in a box.
All right, Joel. I don't hate where you're
What's
coming
that
from.
bench?
I don't hate where you're coming from, Joel.
Okay, I'm on ESPN Trade
Joel's
Machine
not
right
going.
now.
He's not sounding insane.
I didn't want to include Herb Jones in the package because it's Herb Jones.
How many games does Herb Jones play this year?
But it's also Giannis, so you have to take that into account. But what if the trade package is Zion, Kelly Olynyk, Jordan Hawkins, a top 5 pick, and like 2 firsts, and you have Giannis with Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, DeJounte, and McCollum, and Yves Missi.
If that's all the Bucks
DeJounte's good,
but I think with Giannis, he'd be good.
You got to start over, new regime.
This sounds like the old Bucks, like the Bucks before Drew.
I'm not feeling it.
Like Giannis with the vest, and then with Herb, and then with Trey Murphy, and then CJ
Herb and Trey. I could hear you out some more. But if the Bucks are just getting Zion and 2 first-round picks, that's bad.
I think the Pelicans are a sneaky spot because there's upside with Zion that the Bucks could sell themselves on. Oh, at his best, he's a top 15 player. Maybe this is worth the gamble, and you get a top 5 pick in the draft along with that.
Pistons got Giannis.
Movie. It's so much better.
And Giannis out west.
Giannis to the Pistons would move mountains.
So they're trading like everybody to get that done, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you'd have to trade Ivy, you'd have to trade Duren.
Ivy and Duren can go. It's young.
You might have to trade Asar too.
All right, now you're trolling.
That's tough.
I don't
That's
think
tough. You're not wrong, Joel.
I think Zion is a better trade asset him alone than those 3 players, honestly.
Talent wise, yes, but then you have to take into account that he doesn't play. No offense to him.
He's never played in the playoffs either.
Yeah. So, you got to add that caveat.
He's just a complete unknown.
Wait, can I ask a question about this Pelicans team? Because I'm curious about this Pelicans team. Does the spacing worry you with DeJounte on their court, Yves Missi on the court? Herb Jones is, you still give him we'll let you shoot. Trey Murphy, sniper, though.
Well, that's why I was kind of more willing to give up Herb Jones. I think the lineup, if he was there, would be Giannis and Yves starting. I think Trey Murphy has to start.
For sure.
DeJounte's making a lot of money, but I don't know if I'd want to start him. I'd rather start CJ McCollum and then at the 2 start Herb Jones. I think that works out spacing wise better, but they have lineup variations. Like you can have Giannis at the 5 and you can have Murphy and CJ and Herb out there. I mean, last time he played a full season, he shot really well. So I think just overall, like with Giannis, we've seen the teams that he can maximize the most and go on a deep playoff run with are teams that are orchestrated to play elite level defense. And I think that Pelicans team, if you're getting an awesome version of DeJounte, which off an Achilles you might not, but with Herb Jones, Giannis, and DeJounte, that defensive lineup sounds nightmarish.
That's a playing team that probably gets bounced in the first round.
No. Stop. Giannis is not no fucking playing.
Why are we disrespecting the Pelicans role players like a year before this year when they all got hurt? They were a top 5 seed with BI and Zion.
You're 100% right.
Disrespecting. We value how good the West is.
Like these role players are really good. If you plop in a Giannis for 70 plus games,
100%.
Maybe
they win. They could win 50 games, no doubt.
Maybe for sure. I don't regular season. Yeah, I don't hate that.
That's the whole point.
We just saw that the difference between the 3 seed and the 8 seed could be 2 games. So
I think Giannis wants to go somewhere where he's like a favorite. I don't, like
he doesn't have a co-star on that team.
No shot in hell.
I don't think any team he goes to, he'll be a favorite outside of OKC.
Well, the Rockets
will like number 2. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like,
who do the Rockets trade though?
I don't think they'd be favored either.
They can trade Jalen Green. They can trade Sengun and Jalen Green. They can trade Reed Shepherd and Jalen Green and Sengun.
OKC would still be favored.
Like, what do you like?
So wait. Giannis, Dylan Brooks, Jabari, and Amen is a championship roster.
They can trade Dylan Brooks. They have a lot of trade.
Fred.
Yeah, they have a lot of variations that they can just toss out there. I mean, look,
they have a lot of packages.
Yeah, listen, they got a lot of picks too. They just won 50 games with all those players. So
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I don't know if they.
Well, watch the disrespect on the Rockets.
I just think it depends on what you trade for Giannis. If it's just Jalen Green and a bag of chips, then sure. But do you think that Reed Shepherd has to be in that deal? I know
Sengun does.
if Şengün and Reed Shepherd go, who's their center?
Giannis.
Steven Adams.
Giannis.
But Giannis hasn't played the 5 ever in his career as a full-time starter.
Hey, listen, brother, you got to try new shit.
That's why I don't know. Like the Rockets one, I think they give up a lot. I don't dislike it. I think the Knicks, it depends on what they trade, but I don't know if they have a trade offer that's appealing to the Bucks. That's why I kind of just look past them. I think the Pacers would be a really sneaky good spot.
The Pacers
too.
would be a great team if they managed to get him.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm packing my bags if he goes to the Pacers.
The Nets don't make any sense. I think they're just in a rebuild. The Miami Heat.
I don't hate the Nets. I don't hate the Nets.
So you don't hate the Nets, but you hate the Pelicans?
I didn't say I hate the Pelicans. I laughed at the Pelicans. It's different.
What's the Nets package?
They got like $100 million. They're gonna have like $100 million cap. They can pair him with another star.
They have all the
pair him
picks.
with a top
Well,
player.
they'll
You know
pick
what I'm saying? And Dels, they're in the East.
So Hustle had a super chat. The trade would be Jabari Smith, Jalen Green, Cam Whitmore, and Eason in 4 picks. I think I'm saying no to this.
That's a little rich for my blood.
This is one good player. I'm getting back.
You saying no to that?
Oh wait,
You're saying no if you're the Bucks? Zion.
No, it's not. Absolutely not.
Oh,
absolutely.
I don't know, Joel. I don't know.
This
is a lot.
Picks. They have valuable first-round picks and 3 solid young.
Tari Eason is not a star.
Whoa. Tari Eason's an amazing role player.
I'd rather have Zion than all these players, dude.
So
combined.
You could have Zion on the Bucks to get bounced every single first round for the rest of existence.
You don't even know if you're going to get there. With all due respect to Zion, you don't know.
Jabari's coming off the bench for the Rockets right now.
Who cares?
He hasn't really figured it out. Jalen Green, they look better when he's off the court sometimes. Cam Whitmore,
picks.
Give me
Tari
like
Eason over Zion.
Jalen Green and DeJounte Murray, man.
But the Pelicans have a top 5 pick they could trade if they get lucky in the lottery.
Murray.
They have top 5 odds.
Yeah.
Joel, I agree with everything you're saying.
Like I don't know. I think Şengün might have to be in that package.
Yeah.
Or Reed Shepherd absolutely has to be in it. A top 3 pick, he has to be in it.
I'll drive him to the airport.
Joel, everything you said for the past 15 minutes is 100% correct.
Okay, so the Clippers, I've seen that as destination. I don't know how realistic that is.
Are we just going to go through every single team in the NBA?
I have one. No, I just have 2 more, Pelicans and OKC, but we talked about them. So a lot of these destinations are weird in terms of trade package. I think the Pelicans might have the smoothest one if they want to do it. I don't know if they want to do it.
So let's play a little fun hypothetical, right? Let's say that happened last offseason, right? So let's say we have the team where you have DeJounte, you have CJ McCollum, you have
they had BI at the time.
No, BI has to be gone. We have to make this somewhat realistic, you know? So let's say he got traded, you traded Zion, right? So you have this squadron. Are they better than OKC? No, right?
Mm-mm.
Are they better than the Clippers?
Debatable.
No.
Debatable.
Okay. Are they better than the Lakers?
No.
Pre-Luka?
No, I'm saying with Luka.
Luka?
Yeah.
I'll still go to Lakers. But that's close. I mean, they have really great defensive personnel.
And so do the Lakers.
Like if Herb Jones guards Luka for an entire series and you have Giannis, the Lakers have no interior defense to guard Giannis for an entire series.
I agree, but I'm good with the Luka.
Last time we played against the Bucks, Giannis played terribly.
Okay.
Keep that in mind.
I'll take that with a grain of salt still.
Denver.
Brook Lopez 8.
I think that's a conversation too.
Golden State.
I think that's a conversation too.
So they propel into that conversation.
I think they become like a dark horse team. I think that roster that you just laid out in the offseason, if we're doing our West predictions, I think they 100%, we all would have them over the Rockets. With all due respect to the Rockets.
I mean, we're picking like
You're done. You're done.
We're picking the unfair, the young team. I get it.
The young
I think
team
for the regular season,
projected.
the Rockets could be better. Postseason, I hear you. Like, yeah, I would take them over the Rockets, but they're not like a locked top 3 seed if this happens.
What's your guys' destination for Giannis? Like, has one come to your mind and you're like, that's the team I want him on?
I'm staying put in Milwaukee.
Who are you going with, Dels?
I think the best fit for him would be the Pacers.
I like that too.
So do you guys, he doesn't really do pick and rolls though. Does that not matter to you guys?
If you have Miles Turner, it might not matter as much.
But I feel like they would still they run a lot of heavy pick and rolls.
But you trade Pascal Siakam
Jarris, Mathurin.
The money work, yeah.
They can only take 2 first-round picks, I think.
Listen, if I'm Giannis, if I'm like you're 30, 31 years old, your game is probably not going to age as good as others. Dude, you want to win. So if you want to win, I'm looking at OKC. I'm like, all right, feeling the vibes over here. Houston's a cool little destination.
I like
Indiana's
KD
cool.
more for Houston.
I'm looking at Atlanta. If we thinking of Indiana, I feel like you could think about Atlanta too. I feel like Atlanta's a cool little destination. Same type of vibe. That's really it though. I think it's OKC or nothing.
I really like Houston because he fits their defensive identity, but then now you just plug in a guy that can actually get you 30 a game.
The spacing just be so ugly.
But it's already asked. It's already bad.
That's why I want KD for them. Get someone that can shoot.
I get where you're coming from with KD. He's KD, no doubt. However, you're still getting younger player in Giannis, although he is 30 years old. And on top of it, he's still one of the better defenders in the game.
At 30, you ain't getting youth.
What do you mean? You still got like 6 years.
6? Giannis gonna be this good at 36?
Yes.
Well, I guess modern medicine, anything can happen.
Like, I'm gonna say that's like one of the least crazy things I've ever said.
I think like he'll be like top 15 at 36. Top 15.
I don't know. Giannis is very hard to project.
Yeah, he's a weird player.
I don't know. He's been one of the best players we've ever seen, and in these past 2 years, he's been a top 3 MVP candidate.
It's just at 36, if you lose like 20% of your athleticism, we don't know what's gonna happen at 36.
He's gonna be good.
That's 6 seasons of like 2,000 minutes per season.
Like 36 years old in basketball in 2025, going forward, you're good. And Giannis has been good.
What star big man has aged 35 plus and been great? Al Horford has been good. Like he's good.
Shoot,
yeah, I mean,
he's a
LeBron player.
Do we count LeBron?
No,
he can shoot the ball.
LeBron's the only dude of that archetype that's been that damn good.
What you just said was fair, but he's also 40 as opposed to 36.
He can shoot. He shoots the ball better now than what he did before.
I agree with you, but I'm saying at the age of 36, it's not like I'm saying 40-year-old Giannis.
36 is Giannis going to have a jump shot? Doubt it.
Yes. His
three ball
better every year.
3 ball? I'm talking about 3 ball. I'm talking about the 3 ball.
I'm going to go on a limb and say yes because he's dedicated to the craft.
You got to bet on work ethic.
I doubt it though. It's not
his work ethic is goated.
You got to bet on work ethic, so I understand that. Now Dino Pepic says if Giannis asks for a trade, where do you want to see him go? We answered that question, but I wanted to put it up there to acknowledge it. He said, also, you guys are the GOATs. So shout out to Dino Pepic for the super chat. We really appreciate it. And shout out to everybody in the live stream, 477 people, almost 2 a.m. on the East Coast.
Like the stream, man.
Yes, like the stream. We're going to end this stream here unless any of you handsome fellas have some closing thoughts. But disclaimer, tomorrow we will be recording a full-length podcast, NFL mock draft. You guys can ask us questions about the draft over on Twitter. We have a tweet for that. Riv, was your hand raised?
No, I was getting this fly, man. It was around bothering the shit out of me.
Okay, I didn't. I wanted to make sure that I answered whatever you might have. A question
didn't catch you guys last night. Thoughts on Kawhi Leonard, man?
He's awesome.
He's back. Never left.
Yeah, he's dope, man.
I'll just say this: Minnesota, Coca-Cola, Pepsi Cola, Lakers in 5.
It's not a good time to do that slogan.
It's not a good time at all.
It's crazy, bro.
Oh man. Okay.
Crazy guy.
All right. Thank you guys for watching this stream so much. Make sure you guys drop a like and subscribe to the channel. And also drop in the comments, Giannis destination. The series isn't over yet. Bucks fans might get mad. They might be coping, thinking they can go on a crazy run. But let us know. Giannis destination. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next time.